Hey, what's going on, Rangers fans? I am Randy, and we are back for week number 6 of the Pokemon Global Battle League. And I do want to apologize for this video being a bit late, mainly because I actually had no AC in my house for a couple of days this week. And although I had the battle done way before then, I didn't get a chance to record. And then the day, Friday was the only free day I had. I decided I probably shouldn't record. I should just take it easy and just relax for a bit because, I had a few days with no AC. So, I just took that time to, take care of myself, so hopefully y'all don't mind. I'm sure no one really cares. But anyways, this week we're going up against Grimhu, coach of the Motown Marowaks. So make sure you guys go give him a look. He's a pretty cool Twitch streamer. You guys should definitely go give him a look. But he hasn't been doing too well so far. He's currently 0-5. A bit rough start, and the crazy thing is his team's actually has some good threats, so he definitely has potential to win games. It's just he's probably having struggle with builds, especially since he has a couple of very diverse mons that can be hard to build with, and I definitely understand the struggle. But as you can tell here on the screen, 4 big threats here. We have Dragonite, Jirachi, Magmortar, Mamoswine. Magmortar probably isn't a common threat, but to me, man, I got bodied by that thing season 1. Which was kind of my own fault, but it still did work because it's power and it's fire, reliable stab. And of course, Jirachi I hate it with a passion. Obviously, you guys know that already. So dealing with that thing's just annoying as it all can be. Mamoswine, hardly any team has a switch into that thing because its dual stab is just phenomenal. And its priority is very, very strong. D9 has good priority as well. Minior, Pidgeot, Mega, Porygon Z, Primarina, Skuntank, all pretty great mons. Pidgeot's very hard to switch into, especially on my team currently, because I have really no real flying resist. I have no steel type on the team, so that's hard to switch into. Porygon Z obviously is just a freaking threat, man. Scarf normal adaptability, try attacks, even Hyper Beam to revenge something, dude. It's a scary Pokemon for sure. Even Dual Dance is something that can tear me apart. Primarina is hard to switch into. Skuntank's a very nice defogger, and not too annoying for my squad, but it's a reliable defogger and Pursuit Trapper. We have Snorlax, and then finally we have his Trevenant. So his lower tier mons definitely aren't the most threatening, but he has a lot of threats on his squad. So I definitely took the time to build a lot for him. But also, by the way, the lighting looks a little well now. I think I finally figured out my lighting situation. I screwed my lamp back, and then of course I actually have some cool LEDs in the background. So I would have liked to have used red, but the red light actually broke. So I think it looks great. I think it'd be cool for Twitch streams. So I'm gonna definitely be looking to do that. But yeah, man, I think it looks nice now. The mic levels are probably going to be a little low for this video. I'm experimenting with some mic levels because for streams I want to keep the mic away from my face, and then when I'm doing YouTube videos I don't mind it being in my face. So I'm going to try to mess around with that and see if I can keep levels separate for streams and YouTube. So I'll have to mess around with that and see what happens, because I do want to start streaming when school starts and I figure out my schedule and all that sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the actual game here. I'm in my verse recorder. Let me go ahead and go over my team as you go into preview, because it was a pretty fun match. I'll let you guys know that right now. So this is it right here versus Grim. I'm going to go ahead and cover up my face here so you guys can see my cool little setup. Let me just cover it up here. But as you can tell there, he actually has the Jirachi, Primarina, Mega Pidgeot, Minior, Skuntank, and the Magmortar. So obviously there are a lot of things I'm happy he didn't bring. Mainly it's that freaking Dragonite, because Dragonite was actually a really big pain for me. Despite me having, a Piloswine and Thundurus, I thought it was really nice he didn't bring it. Because honestly, it probably could get up a D-Dance on my Zoroark. Because I actually brought a Scarf Zoroark, which is pretty crazy. But that was mainly, of course, to check the Jirachi. Mamoswine not coming is huge. Because you look at my squad, dude, I had no switching to Mamoswine. A max defense Milotic is my only switch in. So him not bringing that was huge. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Lax honestly was annoying too, because I didn't really bring much to beat it besides mienshao. I didn't really bring knockoff on anything else. So nice not seeing those threats there. But he definitely still has his threats. Mega Pidgeot, I have no switch into it. I have a freaking Wiki Berry Thundurus as I switch in, because I can tank 2 and get the berry back and be able to tank another one. So that's real cool. So I'm pretty much running this a max, standard max. But I have no bulk on it. But I do have a Wiki Berry, so I can take some Hurricanes. I can switch into Hurricane reliably with that berry because I could take 2 berry procs and be able to take another 2, which is pretty cool there. Thunderbolt knockoff Grass Knot HP Ice on that Thunderous there. Of course, Grass Knot is for the Mammoth Swine. If he opts to, predict something, or, I could live an Ice Shard from full, so that's pretty cool. The mienshao is Life Orb. Mixed, I actually have Hidden Power Ice on there, so Dragonite can't set up on me for free. Yeah, because I don't get Ice Punch. Just throwing it out there. Knock off, of course, for the Lax in case I want to knock it off and not go for the high jump kick. And, of course, Jab, of course, is for the Primarina because he actually doesn't have a great switch into a high jump kick into Poison Jab because I guess Primarina would be its only real switch in to that. So Jab there is really nice for me. We have a Max Spadef Piloswine, which is my main answer to Pidgeot because Heat Wave does actually just bounces off. And Max Spadef allows me to take Hurricanes just a tad bit better. Of course, I have rocks on there. Standard set, Ice Shard, and then I have Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear mainly if his Dragonite ends up being Yachi Berry for some reason. And, of course, I can break through his multi-scale. The first hit will break it, and then the next 2 or 3 or 4 will ultimately kill him or put him really, really low for my something to come in and revenge. So that's really the reason why I brought that. Of course, Scarf Zoroark was to check a Scarfarachi. Not that the Scarfarachi is too annoying, but, I don't want to deal with the flinching shenanigans. So Scarf with Dark Pulse, Hidden Power Ice, Grass Knot, and Trick was my opted set here. And then, of course, I have my Milotic, which is running a mixed defensive set. Mirror Coat, Recover, Scald, and Ice Beam. Another sort of answer to his Pidgeot as well. And, of course, the Mammoth Swine, too. Scald, Ice Beam, Recover. A very, very nice coverage for his squad. He doesn't have a water resist outside of Primarina. I mean, that's a pretty good resist, so, I can't really complain about that. And then finally, I actually have an AV Kangaskhan, which is pretty whack. But Kangaskhan, like in general, normal spam was pretty decent against them. And it was Scrappy, I ignored Trevenant. I got Low Kick to hit the Lax. I have Facade, so I could switch into Scald from Primarina, which is really, really cool. Having Facade there is really, really a cool tech. And, of course, Ice Punch and Power Up Punch to just set up and Ice Punch to punish Dragonite. I wish I would have squeezed in Sucker Punch or Earthquake for the Jirachi, but, I figured it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I could probably have brought Inner Focus on Kangaskhan, but since I wasn't bringing any coverage to hit the Jirachi, I figured it was fine the way it was. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the actual game here. As you can tell by the preview, I opted to lead with Zoroark to potentially catch his Jirachi. And I actually disguised my Zoroark as mienshao to bluff a Scarf mienshao to lead the game. So that's what I opted to do here. And he actually ends up leading with Jirachi. So this pretty much tells me he's Scarf. He probably thinks I'm Scarf, just going to go for the U-turn. But I said, man, I'm going for a Dark Pulse here because this thing is annoying. I want to get it out of the way quick. So went ahead and clicked the Dark Pulse turn 1. If we went Primarina, I had my Kangaskhan to switch into it anyways. And I don't get the flinch, but the Iron Head does indeed to hit me. And we could tell from that turn, he is definitely an offensive Jirachi, most likely being Choice Scarf there. So here I just go for it again because I'm not really in a position to make any play. I'm just going to go for Dark Pulse. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, I got Kangaskhan to switch into the Primarina, so I'm not too big of a deal with that. Not that Kangaskhan can easily take a Specs, Moonblast, or Scald, or Pump, but, I just, with an AV, I can snack on a hit and then put it in range of Thunderous or any other mon to come in and just revenge. So that's obviously why I went for that. He actually didn't bring a ground type either, which is pretty insane, so just throwing it out there with Thunderous, being a late game, a potential win con. So he didn't burn me. I went for Power Up Punch, kind of expecting him to switch out into Mini or something. Not that it really mattered what he went into. He actually just comes in and clicks Scald a couple more times. And of course, the one time I want him to burn, he doesn't burn. So I just have to go for the Facade here and just go ahead and knock him out. Go ahead and go for the kill here. And given I think the investment, he's running this max HP, I think, or is he just running? I forgot his investment. Given off the calc, I don't remember. So I go for the Facade and just clean up the Primarina. He obviously didn't value it too much. I guess he figured he wouldn't be doing much, given that I had a mienshao with Jab potential, and of course Thunderous being able to come in. So here he goes into Jirachi. He kind of surprised me a little bit because there is a potential for me to carry Sucker Punch. So I kind of expected him to fear Sucker Punch, but he didn't, and just opted to knock me out with the Drain Punch, which is pretty cool on his end there. I'm not sure why he had Drain Punch to begin with. I guess it was for mainly Kangaskhan. Because definitely Iron Head hits my... actually, no, Iron Head's a neutral on Piloswine, so I guess that's why he brought that. So that's my fault there. So here he goes for the... switches out, expecting me to be... actually, he knows this is Zoroark, so he switched out good stuff on him. And of course, that was probably an easy U-turn play. But I mean, I didn't think this thing was a big deal, the Skuntank. So Dark Pulse actually does a pretty respectable amount of damage, doing around close to 30% to the Skuntank. So that's pretty good there. I figured mienshao, I mean, Milotic was my best switch in because he doesn't have a water resist anymore. Like I was saying earlier before, the water resist is now gone. And I can pretty much just click Scald and fish for some burns to get some good damage on what wants to come in. Skuntank is not really a big threat at all to me. Thunderous is pretty much a win con right now because he has no ground type and he has no reliable way to kill me, to revenge me. All he has is like Hurricane on his Pidgeot, but I have to be really, really low for that. You can tell there by the crunch, his defense dropped me, but I didn't bring freaking competitive for some stupid reason. I don't know why. If I had competitive there, I think killed him after burn. I'm pretty sure. So I really wish I had competitive there because Milotic would have been able to take less damage from this thing. But now with the defense drop, I wanted to save this in case Pidgeot got out of control, and then Jirachi as well. So I figured just going into mienshao is my best play here. I don't want to risk anything crazy happening late game. So I opted to go hard mienshao on his crunch, and of course he's burned, so it's not doing much damage to me anyways. And then here I can just go ahead and click the high jump kick because he has no switch into high jump kick at this point. And he didn't even bring his ghost type, so obviously that's a good thing for me. So go for the HJK Skunk and the Primarina are down. And here he can bring in his Jirachi to revenge, which is annoying. But he opted to go into Pidgeot and get off that Mega and just click the Hurricane, which I had no switch into. But luckily Piloswine has not taken any damage, and I opted to go into Thunderous actually. I don't know why I forgot what happened. This battle happened like a week ago, so that's probably why. So Thunderous, like I said, was always a reliable switch in because of my berry, and of course I resist the flying stab. So safe switch into me, even though Thunderous is pretty much a win con at this point. But he has Scarf Jirachi, so that's also something to bring up. So Hurricane does a little under half there, and he actually gets Confusion. And then I actually end up being faster than him, which is crazy, and telling me he's modest, and I actually hit myself with Confusion. And his Pidgeot's actually able to knock out my Thunderous, which is super annoying because the only way he beats this thing 1v1 is to get a Confusion and hit me. So a little annoying there, but luckily I do have Piloswine, and I can pretty much come in and click Icicle Spear. Actually, no, I clicked Rocks here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So Heat Wave does no damage as I went for the Spear. Yeah, I went for Spear here because this thing is a massive threat. And I actually end up getting, I think I got 3 hits on this thing, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was 2 hits, yeah, because I was complaining because I thought I was getting hacked here. So, predicting to switch out, I do go for the Rocks here on this turn because I know Jirachi's really low. And I believe after Rocks, Shard has a chance to kill, if I'm not mistaken. So, I just go for the Rocks here. And then this Magmortar, obviously the fire move is not resisted, but it's neutral now because of my thick fat. As you can tell by the wave doing no damage. So, he actually goes for the Focus Blast, which would have definitely done a lot of damage to me. But fortunately, I do dodge, and I guess that's kind of karma for that Hurricane Confusion. But that pretty much there seals the deal for the most part, because at this point, Jirachi's low enough to where I can just revenge with my Zoroark. The Pidgeot comes in range of Dark Pulse after the Rocks. And then, of course, what's his last Pokemon? I don't remember what the last Pokemon is. Minior is not going to win because I have Piloswine still in the back. But, I mean, there's still a chance. But he has to make a pretty aggressive read here. But I actually just go into Melodic here because I don't want to get Drain Punch. And then, of course, like I said, he has no water resist. And another key thing here is Minior can definitely still win, but I have to ensure it can't set up for free. And that's all I really have to do here is not let it set up for free. So I went in Melodic just as a pivot, and I can just click Scald because he has no switch into the Melodic whatsoever. He's realizing Drain Punch won't do any damage to me, so I just, he just opted to switch out, and I can just Scald and knock out his Mega Pidgeot. So now it's down to the Minior, which will take rock damage, and then his Jirachi, which is extremely low. But the only problem is, like I said, he still does have a decent shot at winning. But it really just depends on his Minior spread and how he plays out this end game. So Jirachi just coming back in, and I'm just going to click Scald, and hopefully I can knock him out. And he actually opts to go for the Iron Head flinches, which is, of course, one of my biggest pains to go through. So he gets 1 flinch there. My leftovers is bringing me. He's doing more damage to me than I'm healing, so it's eventually a battle he will win if he gets all the flinches, which he actually gets another one here, which is pretty frustrating. But I'm not sweating it. I can always bring in Zoroark. The only problem is that Dark Pulse probably won't do enough to the Minior before he Shell Smashes. So that's one thing that kind of worried me about this late game here. I would have rather have Milotic come in because he would be forced to kill Milotic as opposed to Shell Smash on me. So that's kind of why I was hoping Milotic could knock this thing out. But he keeps flinching me down, which is getting me a little nervous. But I believe after this Iron Head here, I am able to not break out. I'm sorry, I didn't break out there. So leftovers will come back, and I can only take one more before the next one will knock me out. So fortunately, Milotic, the clutch beast that she is, she comes in clutch and is able to scald the Jirachi, therefore knocking it out. And now Minior is pretty much forced to go for the smash on me or just knock me out, which he's probably going to knock me out because Scald will not be taking Scald very well at all, especially after these rock damage here. So Prisma comes in, Minior comes in at 75 HP, 75% I mean, and I can pretty much just click Scald here. If he Shell Smashes, he's pretty much going to die or put himself in the range of Ice Shard. If he kills me, I can bring in Piloswine and then just click Icicle Spear because, you know, I don't want to do Shard because Shard won't do enough if he Shell Smashes. So Milotic goes down, but I can bring in my Piloswine here and go for the Spear because, like I said, man, there's really no way he could win unless he Rock Slide flinches me. But even then, I still have my freaking mienshao to come in and just, you know, go for the HJK. A lot of hacks would have needed to happen for him to win, so I'm not really worried about it. So on his Shell Smash, like I said, I opted to go for the Spear because Shard wasn't going to do enough before the Smash. Whereas with Spear now, I can definitely put him in range of the Ice Shard next turn. So the Spear is doing roughly around 20% each. I get 2 hits here. I get a 3rd hit, and I believe I finish him off with that 3rd hit there, knocking out the Minior and securing the 3-0 win. So GG to Grim. Definitely a very interesting game. Wasn't never really under any pressure throughout that game, and you know, I don't blame him. He definitely is bringing a lot of the same Pokemon. He's definitely kind of having struggles for sure, or not putting enough, not having enough time for it. So definitely all understandable. Of course, good game. Thank you to Program. He's a very cool guy, like I said. But that means for the Rangers, it's good for us. We move on to, I believe we're at 5-1 now after starting the season 1-1. So we are looking pretty good here. I believe we are at the top of the conference right now, undisputedly, because the next 2 people are at 3-2 and 3-3. So we're definitely grabbing control of that. But now is a pretty good time to announce our transactions, because we actually made 2 transactions after this week, and it will be in effect next week when we face off against Invivid Color. Josh, coach of his South Texas Sableye, part of our PGBL rivalry series. We have Josh next week for week 7, and then we actually have him again for week 9. So we play him twice in 3 weeks. You know, I want to beat him, man, because he's not doing so well right now. And if I can knock him out of the playoff race, that'd be awesome, because I do not want to play him in playoffs, dude. There's nothing worse than facing a rival in playoffs, because that's the 3rd time y'all face, and it's so frustrating. It's so hard building for that. And then playing is a whole other animal, because we've played each other like 7 times already, so in total. So it's definitely not fun playing somebody you played a lot, because there's so many mind games going into it. But like I said, let's go ahead and go on to my transactions. I actually decided to drop Mega Garchomp because I actually could not have imagined it being much worse than what I thought, dude. Mega Garchomp is terrible. It's awful. And I decided, man, I'm tired of that. I'm dropping it. I dropped Celebi as well. Celebi was one of my tier 3 mons. I actually substituted as a free tier 3. So with that, I'm able to free up space. What I opted to do was get a tier 4 in place of Celebi, and get a higher tier Mega to open up position. So I opted to get the Mega Alakazam in that spot, and then of course I have the Druddigon replacing the Celebi. So I don't lose a Stealth Rocker. I mean, I lose 1 technically against Garchomp, but I gain a lot of speed with Mega Zam, which is pretty damn nice here. And then Druddigon gives me a nice Dragon type I didn't have before. Has very nice, not diversity. What's it called? And it's flexible on what it can do. It's got nice 3 nice abilities here. Mainly 2, but Mold Breaker can come in clutch at times. But Rock's defensive. It's got very nice offensive presence as well. Decent bulk as well. But Mega Zam is the main goodie here, because I got a lot of speed, got a lot of power. The speed was mainly what I needed. Garchomp was just terrible, dude. Garchomp was awful. So with that, I think our team's pretty polished. Delphox might be a little worthless at times, but it definitely will be useful because it's my fire type. And then everything else is pretty solid. Scolipede has been great. Clefable came in clutch last week, last week. So it's been pretty well, man. We've been doing pretty well this season. You know, we have a pretty rough schedule to finish out. We have Josh twice. We have the defending champion Viz rematch at the finals after. So those 3 weeks are going to be really tough. And then we have Frosted, who's doing really, really well. She's also part of the UBL, so congrats on that. And then we finish off the season against the OG, the Killer Nacho, man. I look forward to that matchup. But our last 5 games are definitely not easy. You know, we're definitely not clinched by any means. But if we win, I think 2 out of our last 5, we're pretty much locked into playoffs. So if I lose 3 of those games, I would rather lose those 3 against Viz, Frosted, and Nacho, and to beat Josh twice because, like I said, man, I do not want to play him at all. So I hope I can knock him out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Hopefully I can knock him out next week because I don't want to play him. He's still in the race, but you know, if I knock him out, that'd be very nice. But that's all for today, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this battle. I will see you guys next week for a for sure live comm against the South Texas Sableyes. Thank you all for your support. I'll see y'all then. Go Rangers.